Welcome to the Cauldron. We're serving up our thoughts about neurodivergent life, business ownership, and ADHD-friendly systems. Let's see what's bubbling today. We've had a request.
Oh?
Someone asked us, I think it was Angelina actually, asked us to talk about what ADHD looked like when we were kids. What it looked like for us when we were kids. What it looks like now as adults, and what it's like parenting neurodivergent kids. I think most of us who got diagnosed later, like as adults, we spend a lot of time looking back and going like, oh, that's what that was. Oh, that makes a lot of sense now. And the pieces kind of click into place. And what's great about that is that it can mitigate some of the shame that we felt when we were younger. It can sort of ease that feeling of shame. For example, and we'll talk about this later in the episode, but for example, I used to be called a crybaby because I just was so sensitive and I cried all the time. And I had so much shame around crying and around being a crybaby. And once I learned more about my brain and about myself and why I'm so sensitive, I was like, of course I was a crybaby. It wasn't my fault that I was called a crybaby. It was those people calling me a crybaby. That was a real dick move on their part. And it allowed me to sort of turn that shame into not anger, but turn it in, like
Revenge.
take it out of myself, I guess, and place it where it belonged.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So Elliott and I both have ADHD. I definitely have autism. He probably has autism. Our kids are both neurodivergent in varying ways, and we are trying to break generational patterns in real time here. And that means that we're also making mistakes in real time. So what it looked like as kids, and I am going to talk from an ADHD perspective for myself because I'm also learning that about myself, that autism is one thing, ADHD is another thing, and having them both is this secret third thing that manifests differently. So we're going to break this up into 3 parts, 3 episodes. Today's episode is going to be about our childhoods, how it manifested as kids and as we were growing up. The next part will be about adulthood, what it looks like as adults. And then the third episode will be specific to parenting, especially parenting kids who are also neurodivergent. Sound good?
Good. Okay. You want me to ask you the questions?
Yeah.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
When did things start feeling hard?
I don't like that question because when did they ever not feel hard? Certain things have always been hard. I don't remember a time where things came to me easily as a kid. Okay, no, that's not fair. Certain things came to me very easily. Reading came very easily. Music came very easily to me. Certain things did come easily. Managing my emotions has never been easy for me. I have been internalizing negative narratives about myself my entire life.
Sure.
So none of that was easy.
What did your ADHD look like before you knew it was ADHD?
I was in the gifted and talented to neurodivergent adult pipeline.
Represent.
And my ADHD looked like being very high performing and high achieving.
Yeah.
And it was like I could perform success very successfully and be absolutely falling apart on the inside.
Yeah.
And I got like super good at masking. So my ADHD looked like, from the outside, I looked like a neurotic, otherwise normal person.
A neurotic normal person?
A normal person on the neurotic side. Then I started unmasking and everything changed.
Okay. School experiences.
I wasn't in gifted and talented because my parents didn't let me. I was invited to join and my parents had some religious reason for not wanting me in there. I don't remember what it was. I was in honors everything, advanced everything. I did international baccalaureate in high school and stuff just came very easily to me. I'm a good tester. I test well.
Mm-hmm.
And so school academically, until about my junior year of high school, I was a high performing kid. Mm-hmm. Every night I cried at the dinner table doing my homework. Yeah, I don't even really know how to explain that, especially math. If it didn't come to me immediately, I was like, I'm the dumbest person alive. And I would just cry every night at the dinner table. I loved college. I loved my classes. I loved doing college level homework. That was fun for me.
You seemed like you got a lot out of it.
I got a lot out of college.
Yeah.
And I got a lot out of my master's program. And I got a lot out of my PhD program before I quit it. But I loved like being an academic.
It was more than just being a student and like learning new things. It was the culture. It was being the best form of yourself. Like you were learning new things about you.
Yes.
All that stuff. Yeah.
And I'm learning new things about the world and changing my viewpoint on things.
Yes.
And I loved getting knowledge, gaining knowledge. I just think and thought that knowledge was the most important thing you could have. And I probably don't believe that as much now as I did then, but I really was a firm believer that knowledge was the way to become the best version of yourself.
That was also what you imparted upon your students, which I think was a huge thing.
And it wasn't even about the facts and the actual content. It was the how we learn, how we find things out, how we research, like how we do this ethically and responsibly.
Yeah.
That was always what I emphasized for my students, always.
It was the journey. Yeah.
The how do you become a learner?
Yeah.
How do you become a lifelong learner? Yeah, that was important to me.
What about social experiences?
So this one's harder. I think in a lot of ways I got lucky with the friends that I found, but there were a lot of times where I did not fit in and I did not understand why. A lot of it, I think looking back now, I think a lot of it was I didn't understand how to be a normal person in a lot of situations, and I also came across as abrasive in certain situations, especially if I was uncomfortable or if I wasn't sure of myself in a situation. I could come across as abrasive, but I didn't understand. I didn't realize that I was coming across as abrasive. I thought I was just interacting. But yeah, I do think that I got lucky with my friends growing up. Jenny, who never judged me and who always was just very understanding. And I think we were both just very happy to have each other as friends. So that was a good relationship. High school, I got in with the theater crowd. The Venn diagram of theater kids and neurodivergent kids is almost a circle. So I think I found a good crowd there and got lucky in that regard as well. And now as an adult, I surround myself with neurodivergent people, and I did feel different, but I also had enough friends who were also different that I didn't feel isolated most of the time. There was a period in middle school when we moved to Iowa, and I was too different, and no one wanted to be friends with me. And that was a very vulnerable time because I was in middle school, and middle school is already a vulnerable time when you're also the new kid and you are living in a place that is completely different from the place that you were living in, because I was in New Jersey before. Moving to Iowa was like a huge culture shock.
That's a lot.
It was a lot. And I don't think that being neurodivergent helped in that situation.
No, probably not. Okay, the messages you internalized.
Well, we already talked about the crybaby one,
Mm-hmm.
that I was too sensitive. That was drilled into me from a very young age, that I was too sensitive. A lot of shame messaging. I internalized a lot of shame around not doing things perfectly, not being good at something on the first try.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot, I think, in that one.
It's hard because I'm thinking about some of these questions for myself, and a lot of this I feel like I've pushed out and didn't want to think about anymore, and so my memory has closed that portion.
And for me, I think I'm still unlearning so much of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an ongoing unlearning of a lot of these internalized things. I really believed that if I wasn't constantly productive, I was lazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I really believed that being smart and being high achieving was the most important thing about me, because that was the way that I got approval and acceptance.
Yep.
So definitely internalized that. And it's an active unlearning, and I'm still in that. I remember the other day was when we were getting ready to go to New York, and I got so frustrated in the morning because I couldn't find the clothes that I wanted to wear.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, it bubbled up from inside me, and I was like, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it. And then I was like, why can't I just fold my laundry and put it away like a normal person. And as soon as I said it, I was like, oh, still have some work to do.
Yeah.
I still have some work to do around that. So I'm still unlearning.
What about, I know we've talked about it before, but coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
What did you develop?
Healthy and unhealthy coping mechanisms.
Mhm.
Masking, 100%. I was masking for like most of my life until very, very recently. It was like my arm got tired from holding up the mask and it finally couldn't hold it anymore and I'd had to drop it. And it was, unmasking the whole process. Definitely overachieving, like overcompensating academically and in other ways to try to make up for what I saw as deficiencies in myself. Yeah, those are, I think, the big ones.
While you were going through it, were there any adults who got it, or did
No.
everyone kind of miss it?
No, everyone missed it. My parents have apologized for missing it but also I think my parents are both neurodivergent. So for them, that was very much like, this is normal.
Yeah.
This is my experience, so it must be normal.
Yeah, that's difficult.
No
It's like-
teachers caught it.
Yeah.
At least not in a way that like they indicated to me at all.
We were all, I think the world was still learning as well, which makes it even more difficult.
Right. It was the 90s.
Yeah.
And girls didn't have autism or ADHD in the 90s.
Well,
Scientifically, girls, we were immune
yeah.
from ADHD and autism in the 90s. Look at us now. All right. What about you?
What about me?
When did things start feeling difficult for you as a kid?
Yeah. So this is a hard one for me because, spoiler alert, I was also masking.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is difficult to look back and determine, was I doing this because I needed to and it was normal, or was I masking so that we could get through this together and make it through life? When I look back and I look at when things were difficult, it was towards the end of elementary school when you could really see differences, and gifted and talented was happening. And it really came through. Your Iowa moment is my Oregon moment.
Mm-hmm.
Going to a new school system and just not being able to find a person. And it's like, wow, why is it like this? And I would find a corner of the playground so that I could be by myself and have the ball until they found me to take it and do what they wanted to with it. It wasn't until I got back into the school system back in Colorado where people knew me and like there was some growing up together. So there was already some camaraderie like built in there, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So the weirdness was like, oh, that's just kind of who he is. But I heard a lot about being too sensitive. I heard a lot about caring too much. I was called a girl all the time. Hung out with girls more. I didn't feel like I was bullied as much.
Mm-hmm.
But that was my growing up. Middle school hit a huge depression stage and was really unhealthy. And then went into high school really lost with people. I got really lucky as well with John and Bill in particular. But even then, my junior and senior year, I didn't have either of them either. And so it was really struggling to find me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's still something we're figuring out. And like what's a mask and what's not the mask, right? So that was my growing up. I think a hard part as well is I wanted to be a good brother. My brother is ADHD, is on the spectrum.
And he has higher support needs.
And love him so much. And school was really difficult for him. And so I tested really well and I masked really well while in class. I was always considered like a teacher's pet sort of situation until it came to homework, which I would not do at home. I could not make myself do school stuff at home. It didn't make sense. That was difficult because then I'd go into school and I would ace a test because I learned it while I was in school. Why do I need to do the homework? I didn't want to be a problem at home. And so I amassed as a really good student. I did my things. I had my stuff. It was all done. You take care of my brother. You do what you need to do to assist him and help him be the best he can be. You don't need to worry about me, until the report card came home. And then it was, what the hell is going on? Why is this like this? You've been lying to me. And it's like, it's not a big deal. I'll do the final. The final's worth 20% of the grade anyway. It'll get me above whatever. It's going to be fine. And that never went over well.
Have you ever heard of the glass child syndrome?
I have not.
Okay, so I always think about you and your family as like, and this is not I'm not passing any judgment at all on your family at all, because as a parent myself of neurodivergent children, I'm like, yeah, I get it. But
It's hard.
glass child syndrome is when you have multiple children and one of them has higher support needs. The other child who has lower support needs or is neurotypical is called the glass child because they're like see-through.
Oh.
And they don't get the same level of support and attention. And I think for you, that because there's such a discrepancy between the support levels needed for you and your brother, that your things went undiagnosed because they weren't as severe.
Oh, sure.
And so, of course, Elliott's fine. He's fine because he doesn't need that level of support. Like, he doesn't have ADHD because he's not, exhibiting the same symptoms, or it's not manifesting the same way as it is.
Yeah.
So I think that's whenever I hear like someone talking about glass child syndrome, I'm like, I think I married a glass child.
I know that guy. My mom loves us so much.
She does.
And would do anything for us.
Literally anything.
And I think if she knew, because she talks about when my brother was diagnosed with ADHD and autism, that it was this aha moment of, oh my gosh, okay, now there's something, now there's answers, like now we've got something we can do. It was still difficult, but there was something we could do with it. And there didn't need to be an aha moment for Elliott. The other thing that pops into my head is when my dad first went on tour in the military. And my family talks about this a lot. I joke about it, but I think it's something that like really affected me, and I internalized it very different than was anticipated. But when he was leaving, he said, all right, I gotta go. You're the man of the house now.
And how old were you?
Gosh, was I 11? Yeah, I think I was in like 5th grade, something like that. I was like, I have to be the man of the house now. Like, that's my responsibility. And I don't know what that mask looks like for a 12-year-old.
Yeah, that's actually crazy.
And I know that my dad meant it in whatever way he meant it, as like,
he didn't mean for you to shoulder
on
the
the
burden.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was just this, I support you, or I'm proud of you, and I know you can do this kind of a thing. And I was on the other side like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to support my mom and my brother? I don't even have a job.
You got one pretty quick.
That I did about 3 years later. Yeah.
As soon as you could legally. Yeah.
Walking or scootering because I couldn't drive yet. The next thing that I see is my work, and I still see this, is my masking for clients, for customers, and for coworkers. And some people might call it like playing the politics, especially if you live in or work in a kind of a corporate world. It's understanding everybody's own little world and how to speak to them, and doing that with every single person that's coming in the door as well. And
so when someone comes in the door,
Yeah.
regardless of if it's a coworker or a customer, someone comes in the door, you are immediately adjusting yourself
yeah,
to,
have them feel more comfortable, or
yeah.
Yeah.
People don't do that.
that's not normal. That's the masking, right?
That's masking.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing every time.
Yeah, that's exhausting.
It is. It is. But I have found and been told I have this success around customer service that is built on that.
Yeah, so
It's really
hard to break.
I don't see how to remove myself from that and still provide the same service.
yeah, what if you didn't?
And I think that's where I'm running into some issues right now, is because this is kind of falling apart for me in amongst my burnout.
Yeah.
Not being able to put on masks for every single person that comes in. And it looks like I don't give a shit. It looks like I don't care about you, and I'm here for a job, and I'm just trying to do the thing. It feels and looks that way because I've already set myself in this light when I have the masks on and how Elliott normally looks. And so now when I look like this right now, it looks like a huge downturn,
Yeah.
and that's difficult.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to do with that. Because when I'm talking to someone about like, oh, like right here, it makes sense. You get the jargon or that it's real and you're living it for yourself and you get it. But just like growing up with teachers and other people and a lot of my family, people I work with right now don't get it.
It's because at this point, your mental health is not affecting their bottom line. Unfortunate.
Yep. So, gosh, did I miss anything?
No, but one of the questions was like how it manifests differently for you versus for me when we were kids. Obviously, we didn't know each other when we were kids.
We did not. You talk about struggling at the table, homework and stuff. I think that would have been me, and that would have been the case if my dad was home more often to shoulder some of that responsibility for my mom who was working on my brother.
Right.
And because he was overseas or stationed somewhere else, my mom trusted me to take care of that stuff for myself. And then I just didn't do it. So I could see that being a very similar situation where I'm at the table and really struggling and I'm supposed to be smart. I did that a lot. I'm supposed to be smart. I'm supposed to have good grades. It's the only way I'm going to get anywhere. And that's the only way I'm going to care for my family when XYZ. It's the only way I can figure out what I'm going to be for, when I grow up, or care for my brother and so on and so forth. I had a dream to be a veterinarian and I had a dream to be the best dad ever. And I had to be smart for both of those. And I had to finish college for both of those. I didn't do either. And right now, I'm definitely not a veterinarian. I'm just working on the dad portion.
Listen, I think everyone wants to be a veterinarian when they're kids because they want to hang out with all the animals, and then they get older and they realize what veterinarians have to do, and they're like, never mind.
Oh, wait a minute.
Never mind.
Can I just be the vet that pets all of the pets coming in?
Can I be the vet that only gets healthy pets?
Yes. Just does checkups.
Just checkups.
But like
And as
good checkups.
soon as something is going wrong, they have to go to a different vet.
Yeah.
Did you get in trouble for
Yeah.
ADHD type stuff?
Yeah.
Just like besides the homework thing? Were you like fidgety, or did you talk too much in class, or?
I moved around too much. And
You're
that
a very fidgety person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That got me in trouble with friends and like girlfriends and stuff. Like, why are you doing that? You're bugging me. That's too much. And like, I notice it with you as well that, my hand's here and my thumb is just always, but that's, I don't know.
You do cricket feet in bed a lot.
I do?
Yeah.
What's cricket feet?
Like when your feet are like, you're like doing this with your feet. You do that all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's okay. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I got in trouble for it. It bugged a lot of people. I was seen as, I wasn't the class clown in a way that was like, everybody knew, everybody's waiting for me to say the thing and get in trouble or whatever, but I was an entertainer.
Yeah.
And that was kind of an expectation.
I only got in trouble in that I struggled to manage my emotions. And when I would have like a meltdown or an outburst, or when I would cry, I would get in trouble for that.
Man, I'm sorry.
Which nobody knew were neurodivergent behaviors. They would just thought I was a crybaby and that I was dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even still, I see it with our daughter.
Yeah. She is very, very similar to the way that I was as a kid.
But even knowing and setting up the pieces in place to have her taken care of properly, it's not always met. And that is really difficult to chew on.
It is really difficult. And it's helped me, I think, put a lot of my childhood in perspective as well.
Yeah.
Because I used to blame my parents a lot for like, well, maybe I wouldn't have been XYZ if they had done this or that or the other thing. And now I'm like, we're doing that. And I'm like, oh, but she's still XYZ. Maybe it wasn't a parenting thing. Maybe that's just like a struggle that she has and is going to struggle with. And we need to just support her in that.
Yeah.
You can't out-parent it necessarily.
Yeah.
What do we wish adults around us had understood when we were kids? I think I wish the adults in my life had understood just how hard I was trying.
Yes, that, and I'm not doing it to you.
Right. I'm not doing this at you.
Yeah.
I'm just doing it. What do you think was the cost of not knowing? And when I say not knowing, I mean like not being aware not having the knowledge that contextualizes your experience, not having the support and the resources that come along with knowing.
It's difficult.
For me, it's just shame.
Okay.
Like, just so much shame that I could have avoided if I had known.
So you asked that question, and my brain immediately just like, I'm going through so many different tunnels and forks in the road of my life.
Yeah.
And I'm going, okay, well, this would have happened, but then I wouldn't have met you.
Right. So it's not like, no, if I hadn't had shame, my life would be completely different.
Completely different.
Right now.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying like, what would you do differently?
Okay.
I'm saying, what was the cost?
Okay. The cost was 4 colleges, trying to figure out what was wrong with me and who I'm supposed to be when I grow up and not let my family down. It meant me not being as close to my immediate family while growing up.
Yeah.
Because I was being someone different.
Yeah. Because you were masking. You were wearing a mask. How did not knowing shape your self-image? I mean, I think that this is like the whole thing we've been talking about. But I truly, truly thought that there was something wrong with me. For my entire life, I just knew in my heart of hearts that there was something wrong with me.
That's still something you're working on.
And it is absolutely still something I'm working on.
Yeah.
But now I have the context that there's not some deficiency or some, what am I trying to say?
I think it's more so the understanding that you're not doing it on purpose to harm others or those around you, because there is a disability.
Right. It is a disability, but it doesn't mean that there is something like dark or
nefarious.
It's not like something inherently wrong with me that makes me a bad person.
Okay. Yeah.
There's no moral deficiency. Mm-hmm. That's what I meant.
Okay.
It's not a value judgment thing. This is the way that I am because XYZ, because I have ADHD, because I have autism, and, because this is how I grew up and this is what I faced as a child.
Yeah.
But so my self-image, if I had been able to have that context and be able to say, okay, that wasn't me being a bad person. That was my brain doing its thing that it does. And here's how I can come back from it. Here's how I can, adjust course. It would have done wonders for my self-image.
Yeah. What do you think would most improve? Or everything?
Not everything, because there are other things that were damaging to my self-image that had nothing to do with my neurodivergence, but it would have changed how I saw myself socially. It would have changed, I think, what I based my opinion of myself on, and rather than achievement, I could have based it on something better and more stable.
Sure. Something more sustainable.
Something more sustainable. I could have been like, hey, you know what? I am a good person because I'm kind to other people. Not I'm a good person because I have a 4.0.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like for my self-image, I would have tried to escape less. Maybe been more present all the way around. I mean, while at school, while at home, all that stuff. In relationships, because it was a constant, I have to be this way for this person, this way for that person, and this way for this person. They all happen to be sitting at the same table. What's the common denominator? And if I am not this way, how is that going to affect my relationship with these people? And they probably already know, and they hate me for it. And where else am I going to eat? Because this is where I've been eating for the last couple weeks.
The social calculus that you had to do.
It's every day. That was just in a couple minutes of sitting down to eat lunch. It would have made getting to know the people who were in front of me for who they were, not for who I knew I needed to be in front of them. That's hard. But yeah. So I would have had a self-image.
Rather than just being a blank slate.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we have time for today.
Yeah.
Next time we will talk about adulthood.
I did kind of hit on that a little bit today. Sorry.
That's okay. This has been episode 8 of The Cauldron. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for following us on Instagram at The Cauldron Pod. That's it. We'll hear you next week.